Well, we're going to continue the disassembly today, and I don't know if we'll get the overarm actually off or not yet, but I think I'm going to concentrate on this unit. Now, I've already got the main shaft out of there, and this is it right here. And it's just got the one key, and when you look down in there, why, there's one key that engages, just one small key, and that's what rotates everything. This sets down in the universal joint down below. Goes through and sits in this universal joint right there, and there's just one pin retaining it. I thought it was a taper pin, but it's not. It's just a straight pin that's in there, and a little bit peened on both ends apparently, but anyway, tight fit. So this was seized in there pretty hard. I ended up and had to put a C-clamp on top, lubed it up and everything, and kept raising the head up and tapping it here, and it finally released. So no harm, no foul there. So that will get cleaned up, and we'll decide what we're doing with this assembly down here later on. But for right now, I want to get the overarm assembly off, but I think I want to disassemble this gearbox here. And I want to get the overarm off, of course, and I may get to that today, but I think my main concern is I want to disassemble this gearbox and get it off of here. Initial observations, nothing wrong with it, of course. This handle's been brazed, which I hadn't realized before, and it was very nicely done. The only way you can really tell is the paint's gone off of it. So that came out fine, and I'm not sure these, yeah, these look like they have a little taper pin tucked away in them down there. It's like the perfect container for all these small little parts. This was our pin for the universal joint here. We'll put it in there. And yeah, let's get a, and there we've got a little spring. Not much of a spring, but we've got a little spring. And I'll bet we must have a detent ball back in there. It's going to come right out. And that is indeed what it is a taper pin. And it's got a detent ball in it. Okay. So, handle. Got our hole for a detent ball in there. And then we've got 3 detent positions there. And then we've got another screw here, which actually holds a separate collar on top of that. So let's leave that for right now. Begin to remove our taper pin like that. And now we can go ahead pull our pin out. Okay, the ball spring and detent will all come out of there. So let's do the top while we're right here. And I wonder if that is, if with the craftsmanship we've seen, if that's countersunk and won't come on out of there. I'm going to leave it for right now, but I think we will take the first one. Let's look at it and see if it does drop all the way through. Oh, yeah, it does go all the way through. I thought with everything else we've seen, I thought they might very well have only drilled that so deep and stopped it for in the proper position. But that's okay. And rather than putting the detents in the casting itself, they've added another little disc on these, and they put the detents in here. Let's go ahead and pull this top one and see what it looks like here. And all it is a cut point 1/4 screw. Huh. That doesn't necessarily want to. think for right now we'll leave those in there. If we get a little further along, we can get this on the bench if we need to and see what the assembly actually looks like. See what they've done in there. Okay, so we've got the graduated collar on here, and we've got a pointer down here that we'll have to clean up. I don't know if you can see that very well or not. There's a pointer that screws on right here and goes on. So let's get our graduated collar off. And it's just a little dog point that sets into the groove there. Got that out of the way, it looks like. Now we're going to have collars on these, so we take this set screw out. I wonder how that, I only feel the one. Okay, and it's going to slide right off. Just a detent in it. Just a cut point set screw on that collar. And then we've got this other collar here. Set screw for it. It should be set up the same way, I'm assuming. All of these have little oil holes in them, and the oil holes that are in the sides like this one are angled down slightly. I believe that's just slid on there, but there we go. Okay, I think we can go ahead and pull the front cover off. Although, the reality is, even if this video is not helpful to you, I may very well need it to reassemble things. One of the things that amazed me, and I was watching Steve Watkins' channel, he's got a big planer. If you haven't seen it, you might want to check it out. He's got looks to be about an 8-foot bed hydraulic Rockford planer that he's got up and running. And he said that looks like it's got a lock Allen in here. He had said that he was amazed in one of his videos that all the bolts on his planer nothing was seized up. You know, there was no bolts really rusted in place. They all came out relatively easy. And I found that to be true here too. I've not really found anything that's been seized up. And granted, this has been undercover and inside and all that stuff, but nonetheless, you would expect to find some things that are probably at least somewhat frozen into place. You know, a little bit of rust has gotten in over the years or something that way. And I don't know, I tend to believe maybe it's just the quality of the fasteners that were built for this. You know, there's no Chinesium stuff in here. Everything fits really well, and everything that I've taken apart has been just very nicely machined and done. So I kind of wonder if that's the case with Rockford and a lot of other American-made machine tools over the years. You know, they've just done a really good job of manufacturing all the parts for them. This collar spins here, but it doesn't want to come out. Or doesn't want to come off. I wouldn't think that I would need a puller to get it off of there. It spins freely. Yeah, just a little bit of paint, yuck, something on there. Now I think we can go ahead and pull our screws out of our cover here on the front. Actually, let's take our little pointer off of here. We can get the paint out of it. Now I think we can take all our little front screws off. There again, nothing seized in place, nothing exceptionally tight. Yep, there's no leaks in it, or there hasn't been any leaks that I've seen. Of course, we may pop this cover off and all kinds of grease and oil may run out, but I don't think so. I'm not sure how a lot of these are sealed. Some of these covers, if we pull them off, we may be building gaskets for them. But there again, to me, this is fairly impressive. These have not, these screws have not been out for at least, 20 some years since I've owned it. Even though it's just sat and undercover, why, that still to me is pretty impressive. Okay, there's the 6 screws for the cover. Couple of alignment pins. No gasket, just a mating surface. Of course, this is fairly dry. We'll grease this all when we put it back together. Look at those bevel gears in there. Looks very nice. So, let's see what else we got here. Okay. We've got 2 gears, look to be exactly the same. That top's got a little bit of crap on it. Yeah, it shows, doesn't appear to show too much wear to me anyway. Okay, those gears appear to be exactly the same. But we will lay them out in the order that they came off, just to be sure. Just like that. Now, okay, we've got 2 more. This sets within our dogs for rotation. Alright, I wanted to show you down inside here. These are the gears that hook onto the shafts that run on down the overarm. Now these little gears, they've got a key in them, so they engage in a key here, or in a keyway. They have a keyway in them, so they've got a key that they engage with. And then we've got the little knob or bar that operates them. And yeah, I guess they will come out. But anyway, this little dog sticking up engages in this position here. So when they set on here, we're going to align them out of the way. Let's see if we can get it back on. There we go. And it will have to line up and set in there. So when they engage, they go to that position. We rotate our arm out. That would engage that drive. When we rotate them back, why, that will disengage them. Our shaft going down through is going to operate this set of gears. And one would be up, one would be down. This is virtually the same thing as you've got on some of the little lathes, like the little Atlas Craftsman lathe, to reverse your gearbox from forward to reverse. And that's exactly what we've got here, is this little setup that would move it. If you rotate it to one position, it's going to be forward, and the other is going to be reverse. Once again, quite, in my opinion, an impressive little piece of work. But we're going to pull the bottom one's going to engage on that half, it looks like. And the top one's going to come off the same way. What if we pull the whole housing off? Oh, wasn't that interesting? Oh, I see why this won't come out. The key has pulled up just a little bit, so it's interfering with the housing itself. Other than it has to come off first anyway, before the, there we go. Okay, so once that comes out, and there again, I'm going to go ahead and reassemble this box before I do anything else, and that way I won't lose any. That way, hopefully, I won't lose any parts. There we go. And that shaft will come right out. Okay. A little bit of wear here on engagement surfaces on both sides. A little bit of craftsmanship there. Taper pins. Maybe not. Yeah, but it is a taper pin. Gone through there. Looks like it. Yep, pretty cool. Alright. Well, I'm going to go ahead and reassemble this gearbox as much as I can so I don't lose orientation of any parts. And then we'll come back and take a look.